Well, hello and welcome to this edition of Swinimer Media's Week in Review. I'm Ian Swinimer. Thank you very much for joining us. We're broadcasting this week from the recreation grounds right here in Waterville, Nova Scotia. Well, we begin our broadcast today with a solemn farewell. Firefighters from across the province gathered in Kentville, Nova Scotia on Friday to lay to rest and pay tribute to the late veteran Fire Chief Herman Ilsley. Ilsley served with the Kentville Volunteer Fire Department for over 40 years, serving 20 of those years as Kentville's longest-serving fire chief. He leaves behind 6 children and numerous grandchildren and great-grandchildren, and was regarded by many as one of Kentville's greatest fire chiefs. Ilsley passed away on Thursday, April 19th, and was 89 years of age. And on behalf of myself and Swinimer Media, we would like to extend our deepest sympathies to the family, friends, and colleagues of the late veteran fire chief, Herman Ilsley. Well, we move now to an exotic event that took place in Kentville, Nova Scotia over the weekend that left audiences of all ages awed and entertained. Dozens of animal and reptile enthusiasts of all ages gathered in Kentville, Nova Scotia on Saturday to get up close and personal with creatures of all different sizes, thanks to Little Ray's Reptile Zoo.
So we are Little Ray's Reptile Zoo, and this particular event is represented by our Ottawa head office. We have 3 locations across the country, one in Hamilton, one in Ottawa. Those are both our nature centers, and we have a local franchise here in Halifax as well, and we service all of Atlantic Canada from Nova Scotia.
And one of the most desirable animals at the exhibit in Kentville was a sloth named Linus.
So this guy is Linus, and Linus is a 2-toed sloth. He's about 1 year, 3 months old. And he came to us from a breeding facility in Florida. These guys have been bred in that facility for up to 7 years for captivity, and they're there for captive breeding reasons. So they help with zoological populations, but they also help as ambassador animals for all the creatures from the rainforest that require representation. He's cute, he's fuzzy. People really they flock to see him, and that way we can kind of get our message across as well.
Another crowd favorite at Little Ray's was a great horned owl named Max, and you might be a little disturbed by what this fella likes for lunch.
So this guy here is Max. Max here is a great horned owl, and these guys are actually native to parts of Canada. You can find them right here in your own backyard. So these guys, believe it or not, it used to be skunks, but now, unfortunately, it has become cats, domestic cats that live outside. So that's one reason you want to keep your cat inside. But yeah, number one food for these guys now is the average house cat, unfortunately.
And from slithering serpents to beautiful budgies, Little Ray's Reptile Zoo's goal is to get you up close and personal with a wide variety of their animals and reptiles, so you can have a better view of what they look like and how they feel.
Little Ray's Reptile Zoo, we pride ourselves in as much physical hands-on as we can possibly do. It's the best way to learn, really. We like to interact with as many people as possible, and we always have a great environmental and educational message that we try to get along. Stuff that a family can do to help the world around them.
And if you'd like more information on Little Ray's Reptile Zoo, you can visit them on their website at www.littleraysnaturecenters.com, or you can also visit them on Facebook at Little Ray's Reptile Zoo, Nova Scotia. Well, we switch now from reptiles to fur and feathers. The Fur to Feathers organization based here in the Annapolis Valley held their annual spring ticket auction at the Waterville District Fire Department on Sunday. There were over 150 items up for grabs, and all for a good cause.
This is our fifth year into Fur to Feathers. The money is raised to help animals receive the vet care that they need. Now, be it a stray cat, something has happened to their animal unexpectedly and they just don't have a lot of money to put out, then we can arrange through us to help pay the bill, and with them arrange to have the payments made back to us eventually. We have a low-cost spay and neuter, and all this work is done through the Berwick Vets, although we have worked with Greenwood Vets and the vets in Amherst. We find it very difficult at times when we're out of money, like right now, but fortunately we're having our big auction today, so we'll be back up and running. Our first thing will be to pay off our vet bill at the vets, and they are excellent up there to us, very patient with us, because I never know. Some days I receive 10 or 15 calls a day for help or for spay and neuter, or they can no longer look after their animal, or they want to rehome them, or some reason. And when we can get the food, we have been providing food for a feral colony of 60. Several people that are on low income and find it difficult at times to buy the food they need. And like I said, if we have it, we are more than willing to give it. And we receive all phone calls. Sometimes people just want to talk about their animal or what they should do or what's the best thing they should do. And hopefully, if we don't know or I don't know, I'll try and get the answers for them.
And if you'd like more information on the Fur to Feathers organization, you can either give them a call at 902-538-8618, or you can also visit them on Facebook at Fur to Feathers. Well, the smell of gasoline was in the air on Monday as Kentville volunteer firefighters responded to the reports of a fuel spill at the Colebrook Shell around 3:37 p.m. Firefighters were on scene for approximately 20 minutes to clean and contain the spill, and the McDonald's drive-thru was shut down for a short time as well. And with spring and summer fastly approaching, I met up earlier with Waterville Recreation Club President Colin Best to discuss some of the upcoming activities and events that will take place here in Waterville this year. So tell me a little bit about the Waterville Recreation Club.
Well, Ian, it was formed in 1961 by a group of local citizens and who had the foresight to see that there was a need for a recreational area in the community. Prior to that, there was always some championship ball teams here, but they played on different fields and farmers' fields and what have you. And as the farmer decided he wanted to have a crop there this year, they had to find a new ball field. So from that point on, they had a permanent ball field, and it was purchased at a very reasonable price from Louis and Rita Barkhouse, who almost donated it. Anyway, they were very generous in their selling it as cheaply as they did.
And tell me about some of maybe the upcoming events that are being hosted here.
The big one is Family Day on September 15th. It's going to be featuring Rick's car show. Rick's had the car show now for, I think, 3 years. This will be his third or fourth. It's an automatic draw of 150, 200 people, so we know it's going to be a success, but what we want to do is get the community and other locals out to enjoy the cars. We're also going to hopefully have the Bounce Kingdom for the little kids, some hot dogs and hamburgers, and corn boil, some live entertainment. And at that meeting June 4th at the Waterville and District Fire Hall, at 7 o'clock, we hope to get a good turnout to share some ideas and maybe come up with, these are just tentative ideas that we had at the AGM of the Recreation Club, but this is going to be strictly a Family Day Rick's Car Show meeting, and hopefully we'll get a good turnout to add to some of the ideas that we have.
And as far as some of the projects that's been done here in the last year, tell me about them.
Well, last year was we did a lot actually. Big thing was we built a disc golf course, and for those who are unfamiliar with that term, it's kind of like frisbee golf. I would Google it and get an idea what it's like. There's 9 holes here, 2 in the open and 7 in the woods that we cut trails through the woods. It's a beautiful walk through the woods. It's a free game to play. We actually even have discs to sign out at Rick's Transmission. You can go in there, sign your name, and borrow some discs and come try the game. There's a big sign just beside the playground where the number 1 tee is, and it's a satellite image with the shows where the tees and all the baskets are, or the holes, whatever you want to call them. Basically, you throw the disc or frisbee-like disc into a kind of like a cage, and that's when you hold out. Also, some of the other things that we did last year was, I think what was huge was signage. I grew up here and I just assumed everybody in the community knew that this park was here, and obviously a lot of people, newer people in the community who may have lived here for 7 or 8 years didn't even know. So it's a beautiful piece of property that we have, 18 acres, probably 60-70% wooded, and the rest is open fields with a playground, ball field, ball hockey, basketball court, and yeah, so the signage I think was a big thing last year as well.
And finally, if people want to learn more about what the Waterville Recreation Club does, or maybe even get involved, who do they contact and how can they contact?
Well, I guess I'd be as good a contact as any. My number is 902-300-6034. Bruce Rood, who lives right on Maple Street here, he's vice president. He would also be another good contact. And also we have a Facebook page, Waterville Recreation Club.
And if you'd like any more information on the Waterville Recreation Club or any of their upcoming events, you can contact them or find them on Facebook at Waterville Recreation Club. Well, that's all the time we have this week on Swinnemer Media's Week in Review. We thank you very much for watching. We're going to leave you now with some pictures that were taken of a Girl Guide Spring Tea event on Monday night in Cambridge. Thanks for watching, everyone, and we'll see you next week.